Well, on the cruise today, I'll be pointing out various points of interest, referring to the left side of the vessel as the port, the right side is the starboard. As you enter the vessel on the right are heads or restrooms. There are thresholds that are raised up at those doorways, and every doorway on the vessel that stick up 3 or 4 inches, so please make sure that you step over those. Amidships is our ship store. They sell hats. Sorry about that, folks. We lost our PA system for a moment. But they sell hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, fleece jackets, vests, postcards, coffee cups, glasses, books. You may want to browse through there while on the cruise today. Also, our galleys located on the port side, they are open at this time. They serve hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, clam chowder. I think they've got chicken wraps, tuna fish, hot and cold drinks, candy. If you don't see what you want down there, just ask them. Maybe they can make it up for you. I'm your captain today. You're welcome to the wheelhouse, view the time. Also, anybody interested in tour of the engine room, that can be arranged as well.
Actually, I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, what? I'm gonna get that green bag. Daniel wants the green bag.
Dan, what do you want? Are these yours?
Looking out the port side, that brown building you see is where the main port service is located.
Thank you.
On that grassy
Yes,
area, sometimes you'll see a helicopter land and take off from there. That's used in their operation. Coming out from the starboard side, a series of tan buildings you see is where the main inland fisheries and wildlife is located, in that large building is the hangar. During the fall moose hunt, that's used as a weigh station. People bring their moose in there to be weighed. Biologists will take a tooth sample, check the age and condition of the animal. See some pretty big moose come in there. Just north of that flagpole, there's another dock. You can see a boat tied up to it. That is their patrol boat. That is one of the fastest boats on the lake.
Yeah. Chocolate and peanut butter. Oh, I want that island right there. What? I want that island right there.
Oh no. You just don't walk over.
Dude, I went out to take a leak and I fell off my island.
Hey, in addition to snacks, do we have lunch too?
Yeah, sandwiches.
Good.
Whenever you want, I'll make one for you. Roast beef.
Awesome.
Looking off the starboard side, you can see a building on the shoreline that says Jack's Air Service. That is one of 2 floatplane services that operate on Moosehead Lake. The other service is Courier's Flying Service. They operate out of West Cove. I'll point them out when we get over there. They'll take you up for a different look at Moosehead Lake from the air. They also charter out to take people up to the various lakes and ponds in the area as well. On that site where you see Jack's Air Service, once stood a factory called the Atlas Plywood Company. They employed many folks from the Greenville area. There was a spur line from the railroad that ran right up past the boardwalk where the boat is docked, up past the museum, and up to that site where they'd load all their product onto freight cars to be shipped south. They went out of business in the early 1970s.
I hope I can get this all as one movie. Can I try one? Thank you. You got the cheddar fries? Mm-hmm. They're good?
Coming up on the port side, that large metal object you see with a flagpole sticking out of it, that's the old steam boiler that was removed from Katahdin back in 1922 when it was converted over to diesel power. They did place it on that rock pile there to mark it as a hazard. That's called Mile Light. That is 1 mile from East Cove, where we just came from. That was the first and only hazard mark on Moosehead Lake for many years. At the top of that flagpole, there was a light that was powered by the Atlas Plywood Company, but when they went out of business, nobody wanted to pay the light bill. So there wasn't a light up there for many years until a few years ago, some local merchants got together and put that solar light up there. It's been a big aid to us at nighttime. The Katahdin was steam powered for only 8 short years, from 1914 to 1922. That's when the first diesel engine was installed in the boat. It was a Fairbanks Morse. That operated the Katahdin until 1954, when it was removed and the 2 engines that power the vessel today were installed. We are powered by 2 6110 Detroit diesels. They produce about 300 horsepower each. We consume about 15 gallons of diesel fuel an hour between the 2 main engines and 1 generator. The Katahdin is 115 feet long, 28 feet across the beam. We draw 7.5 feet of water, weigh a hefty 200 tons. The Katahdin does have a steel hull, the reason being the only boat of its type still left on the lake today. The hull was constructed at Bath Iron Works, a fledgling company at the time. You notice the number 63 on the bow of the vessel. This is the 63rd hull that they built, and it's the only vessel this old that's still in service that they build today. It's also the only vessel that was not solely completed at Bath Iron Works. The hull was built in 3 sections, shipped up on the rails to Greenville Junction, where they were put on barges, floated over to Shipyard Point, where they were assembled, and the local boat builders built on the superstructure. Looking off the bow, you can see a large mountain that is called Big Moose Mountain, formerly known as Big Squaw. That's where the area ski resort is located. The very summit of that mountain was erected the very first fire watch tower built in the United States back in 1905 by the Shaw Lumber Company, so they keep an eye on their woodlands. A lot of fires were started by lightning strikes. Also, the railroad runs up that side of the lake. When they were running steam engines, hot embers would go up the stacks of the train, catch the brush alongside the tracks on fire. In the early days, if a fire spotter did happen to spot a fire, he'd have to run down the mountain and alert authorities. Eventually it was connected with a telephone line. Fire spotters would go up to the top of the mountain in the early spring, plant gardens, pick berries, catch water in rain barrels. Stay up there pretty much till it gets too cold in the fall. There was as many as 60 fire watch towers in Maine at one time. Now all fire spotting is done, fire watch. It's done by satellite or spotter plane. Looking down towards the shore, you can see some condominiums. That's known as Squaw Mountain Village. There is a 9-hole golf course there, it's open to the public. On that site once stood in the called Swallow Dam. 1968, the fire of the dam, tragically 5 people lost their lives. The mountain to the left is called Billington. Various islands also used for setting docks and moorings. I'm going to blow the whistle to announce our entrance into West Cove. The brown building in front of us is called Kelly's Landing. It's a restaurant. They've got some motel rooms upstairs. Pretty nice place to eat. You can sit there on the deck or eat inside and watch what's going on the lake. That was originally built as a warehouse by the Hollingsworth and Wicking Company to support their logging operations in the area. Behind it you can see an antenna, and beyond that there's a long red building with a couple of cupolas on it. That was another warehouse built by Great Northern Paper Company out of Millinocket to support their operations in the area as well.
Yeah.
Remember when we were up here last year and it was so cold?
Yeah.
That's right over. Oh, now he's turning the boat.
Well, you can't see it now.
The train trestle you see was built
Right in here.
1880. First train went
Remember
through
when we came
a few
up?
years later. Behind that is Greenville Junction. There is a gas station, convenience store, laundromat, a couple of restaurants.
Remember
bars,
last year we
plenty
came
of
up
bars
and
in
there was
Greenville.
it was real cold.
Yeah,
In front of the train
remember that.
trestle is one of two beaches down this
It's
end
right
of the
here.
lake. That is the
That's where we were.
Greenville Junction Beach. There is another
Dan.
beach behind the
Remember when we came up here last year?
Masonic
We didn't
Temple
go
off
down
Pritham Ave, called the Red Cross
Right
Beach.
here.
Just to the left of the beach is the newly renovated Greenville Junction Wharf. Years ago, the Bangor and Aroostook Railway had railroad tracks that went right out to the end of that dock. When the boats were the only way to get up and down the lake, before the roads were built, it'd be tied up around there. Trains would come in, people and cargo would disembark the trains, get on the boats, and be shuttled up the lake to the various hotels and sporting camps. Behind the wharf, you can see some airplanes. That is Curry's Flying Service I spoke of earlier. Across the street from Curry's Flying Service is the Moosehead Historical Society. If you're interested in a little history of the area, that's a pretty good take. There's guided tours on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
This is where they do the fireworks.
No, that was down near town.
Well, I know this is where we always drove up to. Come up here by the trestle, this big trestle. They do what?
An amount of time? More than 3 minutes and less than your lifetime? Pretty specific, isn't it?
We've got sandwiches, guys. If you want to eat.
Maybe I will eat.
Looking off the bow of the vessel, you can see a mountain. That's called Burnt Jacket Mountain. But just to the right of that, off in the distance, you can see another large mountain.
It's a good time, right?
That's called Big Spencer Mountain. Remember what that
Dan,
looks
you want
like
one
from
yet?
this point of view as we get up in the middle of the lake?
Lovely.
You'll be looking at the west end of that ridge line.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what would have made these
The Katahdin was built in 1914,
I didn't-
primarily as a passenger cargo vessel, shuttling folks up and down the lake, along with cargo. That's what most all the boats did. This was the only boat with a steel hull. The other boats were all wooden. Life expectancy of a wooden boat was 25 to 30 years. During the mid-30s, after the highways and railroads were built, that's when most of the boats went out of business. Many of them were stripped of anything of any value, such as engines and winches and so forth, and either scuttled or burnt. There are about 8 wrecks that lie in the bottom over there off Shipyard Point. Because the Katahdin had a steel hull, it was considered still valuable. It was acquired by the Hollingsworth and Whitney Company, and used as a towboat hauling log booms from various harvest points around the lake over to East Outlet, which is the headwaters of the Kennebec River, where all the logs would be sluiced over the dam and floated down the river to the various pulp mills. The commercial service ended in 1975 for the Katahdin. It sat over at Shipyard Point for a few years when some good folks in Greenville decided that this was a piece of history worth saving, so the Moosehead Marine Museum was formed. After thousands of hours of volunteer labor and money, the boat was restored back to its original design where the upper fantail had been removed to facilitate the towing of log booms. It was built back on the boat and began taking tours such as the one you're on today. In 1985, it was registered as a national landmark. We do have a certificate on the upper deck on the port wall stating so. We're quite proud of that. The Katahdin is the largest inland cruise ship in Maine. Moosehead Lake is nearly 40 miles long. It's about 18